Hello, everyone, and welcome to that One Time We Read Manga podcast, where we four friends decided to start reading mangas together and sitting here and talking about it. My name is Tim, and fun fact about me this week is I forgot to think of a fun fact this week, so I am that loser who is supposed to start the show and forgot.
I'm Duncan, and my fun fact for the week is that I have a dog. Her name is Remy, and she likes to bark a lot. Hopefully she doesn't interrupt this podcast.
Or else we'll eat her.
After all this Asian entertainment that I've had here, yeah, I could go for some
Asian cuisine.
Yeah.
Some Asian cuisine, yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about it. Well, hey everybody, my name's John, and my fun fact for the day is that as far as pirate drinks go, Captain Morgan is really, really underwhelming. Not a fan.
Agreed.
Agreed.
No, I like Captain, but compared to other rums, it is not top tier.
It's pretty low shelf.
I'll give it a solid D at most.
I wouldn't say it's that.
I mean, it's not that bad, it's just not good.
So that's like a C or a B minus.
I don't know. Okay.
Well, hey everybody, I'm Nate, and I'll also share a pet fun fact. I've got 4 cats: Anubis, Zool, Bastet, and Tux.
Tux.
All of those sound like gods except Tux. Actually, I scratched that. Especially Tux.
Anubis is a great cat name.
Anubis is my favorite. Don't let the other ones know.
Oh, I'm telling. I'm telling. I'm going to guess, too. Anubis is the all-black cat.
Heck yes, he is.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, that makes sense. That is perfect. All right, so hey, this week our One Piece was a little bit bulkier than it has been in the past. We read from chapters 69, nice, to 100, which covers 2 arcs. One of them is like a full-fledged arc, and the other one was kind of like a mini arc, but it had a lot of stuff going on in it. I think last time we did One Piece, I mentioned like if it were in the anime, it could be, you know, people would consider it a filler arc just for its size, but it actually held a lot of really canon moments that are going to matter. So,
I was about to say, it seemed like there
it's
was
not
a little
filler
bit
at
of
all.
Importance going on there.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, too. It's in the manga, so it's canon no matter what. If it's in the manga, we have to read it, and it is canon. But
He's right.
He's right. We're almost 1/10 of the way there. We've done 100 chapters.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I would consider us a tenth of the way. I mean, you know, by the time we get to 1,000, there's probably going to be
Another 100?
Another 1,000.
I don't know.
No, if we keep this pace up, it's taken us, about 2 months to get through reading 100 chapters?
Yeah.
And that's just because we're taking breaks in between. So we've made it to chapter 100. Gentlemen, a lot happened in this chunk. 69 through 95 was the Arlong Park arc, which is one of the best early arcs in the whole series. I mean, this is it's drama, it's fun, it's action, it's just some badassery going on from the Straw Hats going on here. I shared the picture of it in the little Discord chat we have of Luffy walking away from Nami and Zoro sitting on the porch, Usopp on the ground, and Sanji in the foreground just smoking, standing there, not even facing Luffy. And I'm just like, yo, here we go.
Yeah. I had a great time
right.
with this. I had a great time with that shit. Like, it keeps on getting more and more serious, and I'm enjoying that. And, you know, my favorite character's back.
Yep, Zoro's all the way back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I sure did miss Zoro.
Yeah. I love that your new favorite character is Zoro, and we're forgetting Nami altogether.
Uh-huh.
No, obviously, Nami's back. She took off and went and joined we found out she was the, notorious thief for the Arlong Pirates, and is getting all their money, stealing all this stuff for them, and is part of them, and plays her role really, really well. There was a couple of times where my first read through of this, I had no idea what was going to happen, because she's with the Arlong Pirates, and she's mean to the townsfolk, and the townsfolk hate her, except her sister, stepsister, whatever.
I think it was.
And you think
wasn't it like adopted sister? It wasn't. Was it?
Yeah, I think she calls herself her stepsister. Someone calls her her stepsister, but they ultimately are like, no, we're sisters.
They were
I don't
both
exactly
orphans.
know how that
and then
works.
Adopted by the same lady, so they just called each other sisters.
Yeah, Bellamere, who was a badass in her own right.
Yes, she was.
Bellamere. So that's how you pronounce it.
Cool haircut.
That's how I pronounce it. Oh, very cool haircut.
Oh
Yeah. Yeah, Bellamere was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. And I think you're getting at it, but I mean, there's a lot of depth in this arc as far as the story goes, and I did enjoy like kind of the serious background of like what Nami was actually doing. Although, you know, I don't think the intentions were ever gonna be to go back to Luffy's crew, but I mean, obviously it worked out the way it does because, you know, manga.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what genuinely, I think that's what generally just makes like Oda's character and Nami specifically not everyone's, but most people's like favorite characters, because we had to work hard to get her on our side. Like
Yeah.
it was a battle. Like
She was a feisty, hard to get bitch.
she was hard to get. Yeah, that was a fight. Again, just because of her own betrayal and, like, you know, her ultimate motivation being, like, I don't want anyone else to get hurt because of me, because she blames herself for Bellamere dying
As
at
she should.
Arlong's hands. Well, a little bit, yeah. I definitely felt that. I could have used some more Bellamere in my life. I'm also noticing, and maybe you guys did too, all women are drawn pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Very hourglass.
my
very
first
tall,
thought with
very
that
slim.
was, I was thinking originally like they were like, once I saw the characters, I was like, all right, clearly that's Nami's family. And then it was like, we're not real sisters. And then I was like, okay, all right. So then you see Bellamere, and it's like, that's her mom. And it's like,
Yeah.
we're not real mother and daughter. I was like, okay, so they just all look the same.
Could have fooled me.
Yeah, women just are drawn the same for the most part. Oda just draws women one particular way, unless he wants to get a message across about them. Like, obviously, they're
Like the really ugly
back,
bitch.
like, well, and there's background women that, you know, just wear shawls and dresses. You don't know what they look like. They're just normal people, you know. But if he wants you to pay attention, he's going to draw them in that very tall, thin, with crazy measurements sort of way.
Did anyone else see her being an Arlong pirate like coming? Because I've kind of figured she owed someone money, but I didn't see her being in the pirate gang.
I didn't actually. Yeah, I didn't see that coming exactly. Like, I mean, once you saw the first scene of her walking up, like, to Arlong, it kind of made sense. Like, it wasn't really a surprise at that point, but at no point before that interaction, at no point did I think that she was going back to another pirate crew.
Yeah.
I kind of thought she was just being a dick.
Yep, she was.
Yeah.
She was, and she keeps up being a dick throughout the whole thing. We'll see a little bit more of that. Actually, we see it almost right away when so Usopp, Zoro, and one of the bounty bros are off rescuing her, right? Or thinking they're trying to.
Yeah.
And they see the fishman on the dock, which, by the way, who was blown away by the idea of fishman? I think they were mentioned before, but actually seeing them, who got like, oh.
I was blown away by the design of the fishmen.
I was
like,
about to say that exact
they-
same thing.
They took some liberties with these guys.
Yeah.
But the
I like the
idea
octopus
didn't,
guy a lot.
the idea didn't blow my mind too much. I was like, yeah, we see funky shit in this show, especially like I don't know how quickly. Well, like the Grand Line Beast Momu.
Yeah,
Like
Momo.
once
Love that thing.
once
I
I
love
saw
Momo.
once I saw that, I was like, all bets are off. Like anything can be in this fucking anime. this manga.
Yeah.
That beast was so cute.
Yeah, just
I loved him.
it was.
Or her?
It was. I love the interaction. Them.
It.
All right, that's appropriate.
I love the interaction of Sanji with Momu.
Yeah.
Just because Luffy like punches it, and he's like, "What are you doing? This poor beast is just hungry." And then it like goes to bite Sanji, and he's like, "You ungrateful crap beast!" And it just kicks the shit out of it because it was about to eat his arm or something like that.
I love when it returns and then it's like, all right, I'm here. And then it looks at them and goes, oh, shit.
Oh, it's these guys. Oh, God.
Oh, no. Yeah, and then Arlong's like, now, Momu, we don't want any, I forget exactly what he says. Arlong, actually, I'm going to backtrack to what I was saying about Zoro and Nami keeping up her act real quick before I want to dive into Arlong just because he's one of the best early villains here.
Yeah, cool villain.
So Usopp and Bounty Bro number 2, I forget his name, jump overboard when they see the fishmen. They're like, nope, we're not dealing with this. And Zoro is tied up because they tied him up. Like, Usopp tied him up because he was going to go in there and just walk up and fight everybody, even though he's still pretty badly hurt.
Yeah.
And this is just what we're being told. We don't see how badly he's hurt yet. And so he's tied up and he's in front of Arlong, and they're doing their bad guy montage, and he's like, oh, and he's like, yeah, Nami's been my agent the whole time, and she betrayed you, and she's got a cold heart. And he's like, oh, is that right? And he throws himself into the fucking lake, or the pool, or whatever that's like a little inlet to the ocean, I think. He throws himself in, kind of somehow knowing Nami would save him. And I'm like, the balls.
Yeah, there was a lot of gambling going on here as far as like your life goes. But I want to hit on that because I kind of got the idea that it was an inlet, but I don't know how the anime depicted it, but I definitely thought it was a pool almost the entire time. And then they kept on talking about like, Luffy in the ocean, or I'll throw you in the ocean, all this stuff. And I'm like, it's a pool. But I thought maybe like that pool somehow connected to the sea or something. I didn't realize it was like an inlet or something.
Yeah, we don't get a good look at it. At least I don't think in the manga. But in the anime, it's like there's the dock where their boat is, and then like kind of next to it, there's like wide open doors. There's like doors that lead to that inlet.
Yeah.
There's no sidewalk. It's all just the doors lead into that, so the fishermen can like swim in and all that kind of.
I also thought it was a pool for the longest time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks very much like a pool, and we don't see a really good establishing shot right away.
Yeah.
So yeah, Zoro sees right through her bullshit, throws himself into the ocean, drowning, basically, forces Nami to save him, which she does, and kind of makes. At one point, you kind of flip. You kind of are like, obviously, she's trying to do something here, and they keep getting in the way. What is her plan, and how badly are they screwing it up?
Yeah, and you could kind of like get on her side with all of that, though. Because you're trying so hard to be the bad guy so that you can be the good guy. And honestly, like the pirate crew was just fucking it up left and right. Like, I could understand his frustration because like she had a good plan. Now we find out that it was never going to work in the first place, but like she had a good plan, and everybody seemingly just kept on just itching, like chomping at the bits to fuck it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously it's like they can't know because they don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
And all but one of them want to know.
Are you talking about Luffy?
Yes.
Oh, dude, that was hilarious.
I love that moment. She's like, I'll tell you her backstory. And Luffy's like, I don't give a shit. And walks away.
I loved that so much.
His complete disregard really speaks to his character.
Yeah, he already made up his mind. Like, yeah, Nami's going to be my navigator. I don't care what she did in her past or didn't do or anything. Like, she's going to be my friend whether she likes it or not.
Exactly. Like, I don't care. It don't matter. She's mine now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luffy only cares about what their future is. He doesn't care about what their past is, and
Yeah.
very rarely will he show interest in someone's backstory. Like, we saw it as early as like Zoro. He's like, yeah, I don't even remember Zoro told him his backstory. We just got a glimpse of it.
I don't think he did. I don't think that Luffy knows. I feel like the Zoro thing, I don't remember who he was talking to, but...
Yeah. And again, I think, yeah, between Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp, nobody told Luffy their backstory. They told other people their backstory. The only thing they ever told Luffy, any of them, was their dreams.
Yeah, Luffy just cares what you want to accomplish. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah. It was fun. Luffy has been hilarious, especially in this arc. Like, he's hilarious every time, but, like, his just either blind determination or blind rage is the single best parts of this arc entirely.
Yes.
Everything. Just Luffy's blind insert thing. And that's always hilarious.
His blind dedication, his blind rage, is, blind whatever.
Blind attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting blinded by ink.
Blinded by ink.
Blinded by drowning? Question mark?
Kind
of. He did pass out, so I guess he was blind.
Also, he was out for a while.
Yeah.
He
was out for...
Pretty sure he already had some brain damage going on, but I think now he has even more.
So yeah, it's a little hand wavy how much he actually inhaled.
I think there's something to be learned in this one, though. I think from now on, whenever they go out to sea, somebody needs to have, like, a little collar around Luffy's neck, and they just need to have a little string, doesn't have to be huge, attached to their belt loops. That way, if Luffy ever falls off, he can still breathe.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
that would be a genius idea. Yeah.
I think
that would be a good one.
The entire thing of him being stuck underwater, they're performing CPR, and his neck is outstretched to the top of the dock. It had to be the funniest visual.
Yes, it was very funny. And you think, like, oh, why doesn't he just do that himself? You have to remember, like, the sea makes it so that he can't use his powers. His powers still exist. He is too exhausted to use them. That's, like, the justification.
Oh, yeah. Like, when he came to, and his head was sticking out of the water, he was so much of a I don't give a fuck attitude. Like, he just, there was a couple panels, I'd have to find it, but, like, where he was like, huh, that's neat. But, like, he didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's very nice that you're, it's kind of funny, the whole Arlong pirate fight between, Zoro and the octopus guy, Sanji and the stingray guy, and then Usopp versus I think a cuttlefish is what the guy was, because he has the kissy lips.
Yeah.
Kiss
Is that
fish.
what it was called?
Yeah, the kiss fish.
Yeah, he was a cuttlefish.
Yeah, cuttlefish.
I didn't make that connection. I was just creeped out by him.
He was
I love those.
Yeah, he's very creepy in the anime too, because they make him sound very creepy. But like, it was funny during that whole dynamic because Luffy is thrown in the water and is taken out of commission, right? So that's like the protagonist is having an issue and has to come in and save the day later. But in a weird twist of fate, Arlong also just kind of took himself out of the fight. He's just going to stand back and let his people do it. If this were any other show, like, say, Dragon Ball Z, it would be all the underlings versus the one big bad waiting for the, captain to come save the day. Dragon Ball Z, Goku, But this one is kind of nice. They have people for the underlings to fight, and they're kind of fun little matchups. Zoro versus the 8-armed octopus guy in a sword fight. Sanji versus the stingray guy. I can't really think of the connection they had other than just being like the third strongest guy in the room.
Yeah, I think it was just the power of punches on that. I think that was the only real connection they had. That's just what it lined up to be.
I'm gonna kick, I'm gonna bow. Like, that's pretty much all it was.
Yeah. Which I think, as far as like the subordinate leaders goes, like the fishman karate guy, was he a stingray? You said.
Yes, yeah, Fishman
Yeah,
Karate.
I think he held the most gravity out of any of them. Like, I thought that his was like the scariest power. But with that being said, he's the only one that like really did something underwater. Like the rest of the, I mean, I know Arlong kind of did some stuff, and then like they all kind of did something underwater. But like at the beginning of this arc, there's mention of like fishmen's power and their ability to like change the currents of the water, to change something about the weather and stuff. Like it made them seem like all powerful when there's ocean around.
Yeah.
And they were a serious threat, but like I didn't expect so much hand-to-hand combat. I guess that's kind of what I was getting at, is like I thought it was going to be like some trial where they had to figure out how to fight in the middle of a tsunami or something. Like, I don't know.
No, they're not going to make us go through that yet. But Sanji had a great idea when he was getting attacked by the Fishman Karate guy underwater, which is, if air gets into their gills, they'll be poisoned or something like that, I think is what he said. And he runs up to the Stingray guy and just fucking, exhales into his gills. And I'm like, first of all, ew, I would never put my mouth on gills. Like, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Second of all, wow, way to stay calm under pressure and fucking save your own ass. Granted, he was out of air when he did it.
Yeah, but he still made it up. But I thought that was probably one of the most creative things that could have happened during this. Like, I didn't know that was a bad thing. So now, I mean, since reading that, I've tortured 7 fish.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So you're saying you've been making out with fish recently?
No, I've been blowing them.
He loves fish sticks.
No. He loves fish sticks.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Oh man! So this is going to be another one where we're just kind of like, hey, if you guys something you guys want to talk about, bring it up. But I did want to dive into Arlong himself. He's a what was it? A sword-nosed shark, fishman.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't exactly
that's-
know if there's stuff that it's said about that. He's a shark fish man that has a pointy nose.
Yeah.
That has a really strong nose too. Remember Zoro threw a sword, or Luffy threw a sword into it. And granted, Luffy's no swordsman, but he catches it with his nose, and he's just like, "You are a fool." So Arlong himself, super intimidating looking guy, because he's a shark fishman, right? And you have to probably imagine for a second, depending on what type of fishman you are, is how you're perceived in the hierarchy of fishman society, right? I mean, that would just it sounds weird and dirty to say it, because it's basically the equivalent of being oh, they're those sharks and the octopus and all that kind of stuff.
It's fish racism.
Yeah, it's fish racism, basically. But there's a reason for it. There's a reason Arlong, the shark, is in charge of everybody. Because he's the strongest.
Well, that leads me to think, what kind of...
Keep on arguing critical race theory.
No.
So you're telling me the whale shark fish man is going to be ridiculous?
Yeah, if we ever find one, I guarantee he'd be a monster.
What
The
kind
megalodon
of
fish man?
what kind of fish person do you think you are?
Me?
Oh.
Anybody.
Oh.
Yeah, let's dive down this hole.
Dive? Fish.
I'm a squid. I'm definitely a squid fish man.
Yeah, I was gonna say something along the lines of starfish fish man. We didn't see a starfish one, but I would like to see a starfish one.
So essentially Patrick from SpongeBob.
Yeah, but a little taller.
And
With
more
biceps.
muscular. Yeah.
With biceps, yeah, a little bit. What about you two?
Well, I posed the question, but I don't have a great answer. My first instinct is because purely it's my favorite tasting fish, is salmon. So I could be a salmon fish man
salmon?
who is born to fuck and then die.
I like it. I like it.
Interesting. I like that.
What about you, John?
I identify as any fishman that I don't like to get into the specifics because I feel like that'll make me feel more superior than others, and I don't want to think about that.
Right,
I think all fishmen are created equal.
Oh
and
my God! Shut up. Can we at least all agree that none of us would want to be a cuttlefish man?
Yeah, no cuttlefish.
No cuttlefish, smack.
Smack.
Oh, smack. I've never heard it out loud.
I hate it.
Smack.
Smick.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what that sounded like as I read it
Smack.
500 times. Smack.
I'm going to be honest. I kind of, when I would rate it, I heard, and I hated it.
We
Just
didn't
lip
hear it.
smack
I
it.
didn't-
Yeah,
okay.
it'll be in
I didn't hear
there.
anything.
It'll be in there.
I was
Discord
saying,
didn't pick it up.
Yeah, Discord didn't pick it up, but yeah, I'll hear. Oh God, I'll hear it when I'm editing later.
Yeah, you
I
will.
can't wait.
He's been doing it this whole time. Every time he talks, he's been doing it.
Smick.
Smack.
Yeah, right before every single sentence, I smack my lips.
Yeah. Oh, gross. So, I mean, it's great. Just being a fishman in general means you are 10 times stronger than a human, physically. But Arlong...
Physically?
So Arlong... Physically, yes. Basically, you're automatically 10 times stronger than a human. You could breathe underwater. You could probably be trained in fishman karate. You're just this, like, superior being. Take a load of punishment, all that kind of stuff. But Arlong in particular is super strong. He flipped an entire village upside down when they didn't pay him money.
Which is pretty hilarious. I love the upside down houses. Just
It was
the visual
kind of fun.
made me laugh out loud.
Yeah. Like, he didn't tear it down. He literally flipped them on their heads, but kept the houses intact.
Exactly. Like, yeah, I didn't destroy anything. They're just still unusable.
Yeah. It is wild. So... Arlong is a really, like, scary guy, but did anyone catch, like, how he ended up here in the first place? Like, why he's terrorizing Nami's island?
I don't remember.
He was extorting them, wasn't he?
Well, yes, that's what he was doing, but how did he wind up there in the first place? Because they made a point to say, like, there's not a lot of fishmen in the East Blue, which is where they are.
I mean,
Fishmen
I have assumptions, but I don't remember. I mean, I know he kept on referring to, like, them ruling the East Blue, and I mean, I know they wanted to have knowledge of, like, every sea and every island, and, like, that was gonna make them succeed or something. But I don't think I know what you're asking, though.
So there was a point in the very early parts of this manga. I'm rewinding the early parts of these chapters, like chapter 69. Remember last episode I said Drake? Yeah, thanks. I said Drake'il Mihawk was something called one of the seven warlords of the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when Bounty Bro number 2 is with Luffy and Sanji, and is explaining, like, who Arlong is. Arlong used to be the first mate of a seven warlord of the sea named Jinbei, who's a fishman in the Grand Line right now, and he cut him loose. They said he's like, oh, Jinbei let Arlong loose on the East Blue. So this is just one of the seven warlords, like, first mates. You know what I mean? He's not one of the seven warlords, but he's one of their first mates. And he cut him loose, and the whole time you're thinking, like, oh, Jesus. Or at least I was, like, what does this guy have against the East Blue? Did he send him here for different purposes, and Arlong decided to do his own thing? You know, what's the deal? No idea, but it was just another connection to the seven warlords who we get a better explanation of.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can come to it now or later, but I do want to speak about what we saw towards the end. But yeah, I mean that does, like, as far as gravity goes, like, that does kind of speak towards what is at the Grand Line, but it makes me a little suspect, though, because I mean, if he is the first mate of one of the seven warlords, and we are at chapter 100 now, I can only imagine that there's something beyond the seven warlords, because I mean, if granted, like I'm sure the warlords are on a different scale entirely than Arlong, but if he was an important part of one of the warlords' crews, then that just makes me think that there's a level beyond the warlords, and I would be willing to bet money that there is.
I see. Well, you text me how much money you want to put down, and we'll see how much is on the line in
All right.
Another 100 chapters.
The grand
I'm
line.
a betting man.
Yeah.
The grander
See how
line?
much is on the grand
I bet
line.
you $1,000. I bet you a single grand.
A single grand.
Yeah, so he explains the seven warlords right away, or not right away, but he gets into it. They're government-sanctioned pirates. Pirates that the government went out, bought, and said, hey, keep other pirates in line, and we'll wait, we'll freeze your bounty, and we won't hunt you anymore. And I'm like, those dirty cheaters. Those dirty freaking cheaters. It almost sounds like it's the CIA all over again.
Facts.
Yeah, at this point, fuck the government, because they haven't done anything good at all.
No, they are bad news. This world's government is bad fucking news, dude. They're just sicking pirates on other pirates, but it gives more credence to like Mihawk's actions attacking Dawn Krieg, like he was doing it under orders, or he said like his general orders are keep pirates under control. Dawn Krieg comes in, starts running amok. All right, I'm gonna go put him down because that's my job.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to see what Mihawk's bounty is, but I don't think we're ever gonna find out.
We do have two references to like power scaling, as to me at least. Since you referenced that he was that Arlong was one of the first mates of the warlords, and Luffy beat him. Therefore, when the bounty was made, it was above Arlong's bounty. So you did reference that like bounties were power scaling. So we now see the point where he's probably ready to go in the Grand Line because he can face that kind of threat.
Yeah, right at the end, he gets a bounty of 30. Luffy gets a bounty of 30 million,
That's
which
a lot.
is allegedly unheard of for a first timer, especially in the East Blue. So I had this a little bit later, but we brought it up now. Let's see it. Luffy has beaten 3 big bad enemies, clean, like on his own, that have bounties. Koro does not count because he was presumed dead and no longer had a bounty. Buggy was a bounty of 15 million. Dawn Krieg, bounty of 17 million. Arlong, bounty of 20 million. Luffy has beaten all 3 of them, so they give him the starting bounty of 30 million. This dude has knocked out the 3 toughest dudes in the East Blue, and the
in
world
one
government
swoop.
is like, yeah, in like a week. And the government is like, oh shit, what are we gonna do about this guy?
First couple gym leaders down.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be like, the 10-year-old going out and beating 5 adults for a gym badge.
Precisely.
Yeah. Very fun. Though it is kind of weird that the guy who put the bounty out on Luffy was the corrupt Navy guy that Arlong was buying. That part I felt was a little weird, but hey, anybody who's going to be an eyewitness, I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it did make me mad that little mousy fuck never got caught for conspiring with Arlong.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, it is a little bit frustrating that they will very rarely end up killing people, because I felt like that guy was very killable.
Yeah, he was very killable.
He was very killable.
But if he died, then Luffy wouldn't have a bounty.
Exactly. He could go under the radar just a little longer. I think Luffy's just doing random acts of kindness at this point. He's taking out kind of shitty dudes. But, I mean, it's a pirate world, so whatever.
I was going to say, it's all retrospect. I mean, it's all relevant, dude. I mean, we said it at the very beginning. Like, yeah, Luffy's a pirate and is okay with people not liking him, but he's not okay with people being dirtbags.
Yeah.
And I mean, Arlong himself just has, like, we talked about fish racism, dude. You want to talk about fish racism? Arlong believes in the superior race of fishmen.
Oh, extremely.
And is
he's
not
got a real
afraid
hard
to
on for that.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I
not
got
afraid
big
to
Nazi
spout it
vibes
out.
from that.
Big Nazi vibes.
Yeah.
Fishmen are superior to all living beings. Absolute peace can only be achieved when everybody is afraid of me, basically. And I'm like, Jesus, Nazi, fucking Hitler fish over here.
Yeah, this dude's probably writing a.
Yeah.
With cooler hair.
This dude's probably working on a book called Mein Fish.
Mind fish.
That was bad. It was all I could come up with.
It's not funny.
Did we notice how
that's
tall
pretty
Arlong
good.
was too? Arlong
That
is
dude was like
mega
10
tall.
feet tall.
Yeah, Arlong is fucking massive. Let me.
I bet he has no problem
he's
with girls
super
on
tall.
Tinder.
His hands are huge.
Yeah, he is. He's a big mamma jamma. He is. Well, this doesn't help me.
Also,
He's,
respect for using dentures as a weapon.
oh my god! Yeah, the fact that he can just rip out his teeth whenever he wants and use them as a weapon. Ow! And then Luffy puts his teeth in his mouth and tries to bite him back.
That was pretty gross.
It doesn't
forgot.
work.
Not gonna lie, kind of grossed out by that scene.
Oh, it was gross.
Arlong was like, "You gotta have the jaw strength, bud."
Yeah, exactly. You're a fucking idiot, aren't you? So, real quick, Arlong is 8 feet 7 inches tall.
8
Damn.
feet.
That's a big boy.
Yeah.
That's a big dude. Let me just, for comparison, find how tall is Luffy's 5'8.5".
Oh my goodness.
Damn.
Luffy's
No,
taller
he's-
than me.
Oof.
Yeah,
A lot of
Yeah,
people are
yeah.
taller than me.
yeah. Luffy's
it's not really saying
5'8.5", going up against an 8'7" dude. Ridiculous.
You know what? I can do it one day. One day I can fight somebody tall.
You know what, Nate? This just proves, though, height is not a fair power scale in One Piece. So height has nothing to do with power.
That's why I can beat Chimpo in a fight.
I don't think you can.
So also for reference, NBA players
You can outrun
on
him.
average are 6'6".
Oh man.
Oh, jeez.
Arlong's still 2 feet taller than the tallest dude.
Well, not the tallest. That's just the average height.
Well, how high up is the basket in basketball?
Like
like
6.
How tall? What?
No, it's got to be.
No, it's not. No.
How tall is
gotta be
basketball?
7'9".
I don't know how to ask this question. It's 10 feet.
How tall is
My
the
guess
rim
is-
of the basket?
It's 10 feet.
10 or 13. I don't know.
I'm looking up.
Is the NBA rim 12 feet? It's 10 feet. They always have been 10 feet.
10 feet. Yep, 3 meters off the ground.
Yep.
Well, if it's 10 feet, Arlong can reach it. He could just
Yeah,
reach up.
You
And
get dunked from
You can
standing.
just- yeah, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, if this was a basketball fight, Arlong would have dunked on Luffy all day.
Thank God this wasn't a basketball fight, or else we'd be in Fishman
I
hell.
do kind of want to see
I
it.
wouldn't doubt that I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a basketball fight.
But actually, no, Luffy's made of rubber, though, so he could just stretch over
Exactly.
everybody and dunk the ball.
That could be
Oh,
pretty
shit.
interesting, actually.
It's monster. It's Space Jam all over again.
It's
Fish
Space
Jam.
Manga
It's Fish Jam, dude.
It's Fish
I-
Jam.
Fish Jam.
Fish
I
jam.
don't want to name this episode Fish Jam,
Fish
but
Jam.
I mean, that
great
sucks because
name.
you could easily type that on your keyboard.
Yeah.
I think I have to now. What's funny is I named the last episode where we talked about the Sanji arc. I named it Fish Ship, and I was gonna name this one Fish Park, but now I have to name it Fish Jam.
Come on, slave, and welcome to the Fish Jam.
I hate it so much.
I'm for it. I think
Yeah.
as far as I think there's two power scales going on here. I think we got to talk about dunkability, and we got to talk about their bounties.
Well, if that were
Alright.
the case, then Usopp, Sanji, and Zoro are weaklings because they cannot dunk.
They got
They
no
can't
hops.
They can't. They got no hops. Their average height. I mean, I think Yeah, Zoro is about 6'1", Sanji is 6'2", and Usopp is like 5'11". Like, these guys are not outstandingly tall. They're all taller than Luffy, but...
I can't get over this tangent. I'm laughing so hard.
Look, there was a lot that happened, and like, I don't mind. We'll get to it all eventually, one way or another.
I love that. So something I kind of wanted to bring up, and I'm saying this because I'm stalling right now because when I started this sentence, I had something to bring up, and since then I've forgotten what it was that I wanted to bring up.
Ooh, skill issue.
So, yeah. So, with that being said, take it, Tim.
Come on and slam.
All right, I'm ready.
Welcome to the fish jail.
I got so distracted by the dunk scale.
We're so far off topic.
I'm trying to get us back. Shut up.
I know exactly where I want to go. I want to talk about just how much went on at the last 5 chapters.
Yes.
I wanted to get there eventually.
Yes.
I was going to save that. Not to go chronological, but there was a few things still in Arlong Park I wanted to get to. Is that all right?
Yes.
No. No, yeah, that's totally fine.
Oh, okay.
Actually, no. I really want to talk about the last 5 chapters.
Actually,
I want to put a lot of time aside for the last 5 chapters because there's a lot of implication going on there.
Please.
The first thing I wanted to say, though, what I was trying to say after John forgot where he was going,
I had a breakdown.
I was going to come in swinging on Nami. Like, I was going to come in and be like, I told you, she's an Arlong pirate. She had a tattoo the whole time. She stabs and kills Usopp after beating up a kid. This is a horrible, horrible person. And then I just put, like, no. And then I thought about it. I'm like, no, because after knowing everything, it's like, she's actually brave and amazing. And the ultimate, like, the right now in the lead for most tragic backstory.
I just want to point out that only devil worshippers have tattoos, and you're all going to hell.
You have 4.
3.
All right,
I had to think about it.
I was right for a
I had to
second.
think about it. I forgot.
I have 2 dedicated to the devil, so I think I know what my fate is.
I mean, nice. That's fine as long as you accept it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
No, I mean, obviously this is like the Nami backstory arc, and it was pretty important to find out everything about her backstory and like why she is the way that she is. But I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is like the dedication that Luffy had the entire time to her. Now, granted, like you got to kind of look at it for what it is. It was just blind stupidity that the reason why he was so dedicated to it.
Blind faith, but he knew her dream was to chart the world. Like he knew, as soon as he heard that, he goes, "I need you to be my navigator. You're the best."
Yeah. But I mean, I was constantly cracking up, like him just blowing through the island, just trying to find her because trying to find Arlong because she cried
and asked for help,
and she said, "Please help."
Yeah.
And that one kind of got me a little bit. I was like, "Oh, that's so sad."
Yeah,
it's
and
so simple.
That's really all. I mean, Luffy didn't need that, right? He didn't need to be asked for help. He was going to anyway. But the fact that I think he needed that little jolt, other than this just being like, "Oh man, this guy has this whole village under his thumb. We should stop him." He made my navigator cry. He made my friend cry. I'm gonna fucking kill this dude.
Putting the hat on Nami definitely tugged at the heartstrings, I'll admit.
Yeah, that was a very touching
such an
moment.
Oh yeah,
I liked that.
It's
Yes.
an iconic moment. Very iconic moment. And from that moment forward, Luffy means fucking business, dude. Like, it is no nonsense. That panel after the one I shared of him walking and everyone, like, sitting around him, the very next panel is a close-up of his face just saying, "Let's go." And everybody gets up and moves with them.
Let's go.
They all know exactly what they're doing. And I'm just like, fuck yeah, dude.
It's like they all mentally were like this is my friend. Like, this is why I follow this guy.
Yeah. The only difference was they knew the backstory, and Luffy did it. And even the Bounty Bros ended up overhearing it and coming in, and they tried to charge Arlong themselves and didn't make it close. But they saved the town from throwing their lives away, so that's kind of nice of them. I think the whole point of them being there was just to do that.
Pretty much. That's what I got from it. And I like how they did it kind of discriminately without making it obvious to the village people that that's what they were trying to do. I like that running theme where people are just kind of like, oh, I'm going to be an asshole to you, but it's to help in the end.
Yeah, sometimes it does get a little like, ugh, another asshole. Oh, he meant well. Okay, but, like, look, there's only so much, like, growing up in the Harry Potter world with, you know, a character like Severus Snape. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up reading about characters like that. So seeing it here, I'm just like, okay, another tragic, like, I'm an asshole, but secretly I'm helping you. Like, I like it, and sometimes it just wears a little thin.
Yeah, in small doses.
It's still
I think
good.
it's appropriate.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I think it works out. So about the fight itself, first of all, Luffy is absolutely certified dumbass. He gets himself stuck in the cement. He slams his own feet through the cement, picks up and spins himself around, grabs Momu, and twirls him around to just take out the entire crew of the Arlong Pirates.
Excellent move. I loved it.
Excellent move. Oh my god! You want to get rid of henchmen quickly?
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, this is some Dynasty Warrior stuff right here. You're just wiping out hundreds of people.
Yeah, and that's. I don't think the fishmen as a race really shined in that whole scene. Like, in this arc entirely, like, it was, like, a few specific ones, but the rest of them, I mean, they were really inconsequential.
I think it goes to show them just how close to humans they really are, because there are those
Yeah,
guys like Zoro, Sanji, and Luffy who are like, you don't want to fuck with them. And then there's the ones like Hachi, Arlong, and I forget the Stingray guy's name, but like, you don't want to fuck with those guys, but everyone else is kind of cannon fodder.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess, like, it's a testament to, like, how strong Luffy's crew actually is. But, I mean, if they're stronger than, like, 10 times stronger than a human, I mean, I guess the question is, which humans? Because, obviously, Arlong was stronger than most, like, 10 times stronger than a strong human. But the other fish guys, I don't know, stronger than a child?
I would say 10 times stronger than me is still, like, 10. You know, if I'm a 1, they're a 10. Like, it's not that big a gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so love the more rubber antics. I wanted to get this out. Sanji and Zoro, certified, do not fuck with them.
Yep.
They will put you down. When we saw, dude, I don't know about you guys, but my jaw unhinged when I saw Zoro's injuries and what he tried to do to heal himself. He just stapled his chest shut.
Yeah, he was almost split in half.
Yeah, and bleeding a lot by the end of his fight.
Oh my god, so much.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts in that was when Zoro was, what was it, when he was talking to Arlong afterwards, and he mentioned something along the lines of, like, what was about the injuries. He was talking about, like, if only if only you had stayed still.
If only it stayed still, he probably would have lived. And
and Arlong thought he was talking about himself.
Yeah. He's like, it wasn't who I was talking about. And then Hachi's underwater just...
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So I think Hachi died, right? Pretty sure Hachi died.
It definitely looked like it, but it's not like he's going to drown. He's an octopus.
Yeah, I think he died.
That hurt a lot.
I'd like to chop
I like
up
to
Hachi,
think he died.
Put him onto some rice, make a nice little sashimi out of him.
I love the references towards cooking Hachi and making calamari out of him. Like, that was fun.
I like that one.
That was great. I loved it.
Oh, Of the Straw Hats, though, Usopp definitely has his moments of bravery and fighting, but he has definitely established himself as the comic relief character. Like when he's hiding in the hole in the wall and he's just shouting, like he's the hype man for Luffy. He's like, "Yeah, get him!" And Nami's like, "You didn't even do anything. Shut up."
Yeah,
it's Usopp's funny, but he is not brave unless it comes like his back is against the wall and he has no choice.
Really against the wall.
Yep.
Like I was surprised he actually took care of like a serious enemy. I was like, whoa, that was interesting because I didn't expect in this entire manga. I never expected Usopp to actually do something useful.
Same,
but yeah, he actually did something useful and that was fun. I still really don't like him though.
That's okay. That's fair. He'll grow.
I liked
he set Mr. Smek on fire.
I liked his new attack that got introduced, the Fresh Egg Star.
Yeah.
It's the Egg Star.
Or, Raw Egg Star, something like that, where he just shoots eggs at people. It's pretty great.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, in the interest of getting to what everyone really wants to talk about, we just finished up Arlong Park. Gum Gum Battle Axe makes a return, and this time brings an entire building down.
Yeah. Gum Gum Concussion also made a return.
Yes, it did.
Gum Gum grabbed the nose and break it. Made a return. That was, I think, one of my favorite parts. He's just like, "You love this nose so much, huh?" And he just grabs it and it's just, there you go.
For as great as the fights were with Arlong, I thought the ending of the fight was kind of abrupt. Like, I thought that they kind of just forced an ending on that one. Because I just didn't feel like punching him down and then having a building fall on him really fit how strong he was supposed to be.
And you got to remember, though, these are pirates talking themselves up as strong and reputations of being strong. So we're going to come to find out a lot of people aren't as strong as they say they are.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. Again, pirates are going to talk themselves up, and a lot of people are going to be in their crew because people believe they're strong. Doesn't mean they're all that strong. Now, Arlong is that strong, but not as strong as his reputation may have once believed. Or this is just a sign that Luffy has gotten even stronger.
Yeah.
I think we came to a good close with it because I think that Luffy definitely gum dunked him right into a building.
God damn right, dude.
Welcome to Fish Jam, bitch.
Dunkability.
He just broke his nose and slammed him into a building. I mean, what do you think about that? That's pretty awesome.
That would put me down. That would put me down for a while.
I do have one final thought for this portion of the podcast.
Yeah.
Or this episode. I like to think about the fight that Luffy had with Arlong with some of the fights that we watch like UFC or whatever, where, you know, a couple rounds have gone past and both people are pretty beat up. And then one good punch gets landed and it's all over all of a sudden. So I don't think it's that unrealistic, honestly.
That he was able to put him down that way.
Yeah. Like, abrupt endings to fights it's not that uncommon.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
That was just my last thought. I think
it was also abrupt. Yeah. I think it was also abrupt because he was like, wait a minute, this room, and it just pissed him off to no end.
Yeah, he figured out, like, well, I don't even think he figured it out other than Arlong telling him, like, no, these are the charts I forced Nami to draw. And he's like, forced? You forced her to do this? And just lost his
time to break some shit.
Yeah, which is great. He figuratively smashed up Nami's past and gives her some closure. And, it was just, I did find it kind of weird because he supposedly didn't hear anything about her past other than what Arlong said in that moment, and he got that upset. I was like, I don't know about that, but it doesn't matter. It all worked out.
Blind rage. Blind faith. Blind XYZ.
It did. Blind rage. So Nami officially joins the Straw Hat crew. Zoro gets all patched up, and we sail on to Rogue Town, which apparently a lot of English people say Logue Town, but it's Rogue Town in the in the manga. So we sail to Rogue Town, and right away we're told it's very important because it is where Gold Roger was born, executed, and is the final island before you get through to the Grand Line. So wow, this is a big deal that we're here.
Yeah, I didn't expect it 100 episodes in. Like, honestly, I thought we were going to be chasing to go to the Grand Line for maybe 200 or 300, but yeah, I'm surprised we're actually right at the edge now. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, we're getting there. I mean, this is it. When we hit 101, we'll be crossing into the Grand Line, most likely.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very exciting. It's very exciting, the historical, like, this is where Gold Roger was executed, which started the great pirate era. It's crazy. And then Luffy's first thought is, I'm going to go up on the scaffolding.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was very funny. But I wanted to go to Nate and just say, like, what you had something you want to bring up about this earlier, and I stopped you. So what were you thinking?
Oh no, that's fine. I absolutely love how many little tidbits were shot into here. We have the symbolism of Luffy going up on the scaffolding, like, let alone before the events start happening, just the symbolism alone. Yeah. There's that, and I really like, in any story, I love it when you see the characters, like, getting stuff together for an adventure. So we just see people, like, getting their equipment together, and I love it.
Yeah, Zoro goes and gets some new badass sources, which, Duncan, you said he lost his 2, and I questioned it, but you were right. He only had 1. The other 2 broke.
Yeah, the sword shop scene, I guess, I thought was pretty interesting, because it gave us some more perspective into, like, the names of the swords, how they're valued, and the different grades, which is pretty similar to how you would see actual weapons in real life being treated. I liked that a lot. Plus the introduction.
That's pretty cool.
Plus the introduction of the other swordswoman, whose name I can't remember.
Toshigi.
Yes. Her.
Yeah, very Japanese. I thought probably, as far as, like, rudimentary things that were just happening, I thought the sword background was probably the most fun / valuable in my mind. Like, I did really enjoy that backstory, like you were saying, Duncan. Now, it was kind of goofy, the scale that they mentioned in there, like
the 21 fine grades, the 14 good grades, the 7 great grades,
the excellent grades.
Like, what the?
The 3 excellent grades,
does that mean?
And the 1 perfect sword. But think about it. Luffy has the bounty system, right? And that's gonna be, like, his whole deal. Zoro now has, like, okay, I'm gonna go out and find all these amazing swords and kill people with them. Like, it's gonna be great.
As an MMO lover, I love it.
Yeah,
I love all those weapons.
he walks out with 2 fine grade swords to add to his arsenal.
Yeah, it's almost like the white, green, blue, purple, gold system that's used in a bunch of games like Destiny or whatever.
Yeah, basically Zoro walked out of there with 2 blue swords. I would say they're rare.
But then we learned that the one sword that he does have is probably purple, right? The equivalent?
Yes. Yeah,
orange.
It's worth 10 million.
Orange?
Yeah, it's worth 10 million on its own.
That's right.
I think it's one of the great swords. I don't think it's an excellent grade, but it's confusing. I kind of get where John's coming from, though. I don't put a lot of stock into the sword thing until I see more scenes with Zoro going like, oh, this is one of the great swords. Here's the name of it. And I'm like, there you go.
I'm excited to see more of the sword expansion.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have a question for John. You said that was one of your favorite parts of this 5 chapters, but what about in the first chapter where Nami's trying on dresses? Thoughts?
That was really nice. But I really like her casual style. That I like that she feels comfortable enough to wear whatever it is that she wants in such a male-dominated society.
And she feels the same way because she tries on all that super nice clothing and then just goes, I don't want any of it.
No,
that's
a good answer.
No, but that was I like the trap you set for me there. Mm-hmm. It was fun. I mean, as much of a running gag as it is, like, I am glad to see Nami actually, like, be a fun character instead of kind of a bitch.
It's nice to see, like, all their interactions, like Sanji and Usopp carrying the fish back, and he's like, "Oh, Usopp, help me with this," and then he gives Usopp the heavy end of the fish.
Yeah.
I also like the one interaction where they're at the market together, and Sanji's looking at the massive fuck off fish that was just huge, and he turns around and he sees Usopp like looking at some eggs, and he's like, "Oh, this is a pretty good price for a dozen eggs. What are you, a housewife?" that one line really stuck with me.
Reasons. He has his reasons. Guys, we're getting to the most important part of this little 5 chapters.
Yes.
Buggy's back,
Buggy!
Let's
go!
Buggy! Yeah, Buggy's back, baby.
No, so I don't. Maybe I thought it in my head, but I thought I said it at one point before. I felt like Buggy was going to be like the Team Rocket of this series. And maybe I said it in my head, but when I saw him show back up, I was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
I think you said that in your head, but this proves that the cover arts are canon.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was wondering why those kept on happening. I was like, "There's got to be something." I actually originally thought that like that was a spin-off manga that exists or something. I thought it was just like promoting that. But no, it's just Buggy's still around, and he's he's a thing.
I always
Which
thought it was
also
just like a
leads me
real fun continuity for Buggy, because clearly he's a popular character. But he was like, I don't know, maybe I don't want to include him in the main series, but here's some fun stuff for people that like his character.
Nah, man, that was all canon of Buggy getting his torso back, getting back in charge, meeting Alvida, and forming this alliance.
Yeah,
I love it.
It makes me want to. It makes me want to point your guys' attention to the cover arts that's happening now between Kobe and Helmeppo on their Navy ship, on their Navy adventures.
Yep.
Those have been interesting
cover arts
too.
canon. It's only going to be a matter of time until we maybe see those guys again.
Captain Morgan's on the loose.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Like, and I think that's Oda has done such just a good job of being like, the cover art is almost like is in itself its own spin-off manga that you only get to see really one scene a week, one scene at a time.
Yeah.
But it's its own little spin-off adventure. Sometimes it's just, he just draws a cool picture and is like, here's my title. So yeah, Buggy's back. Cover art is canon. They trap Luffy up on the scaffolding and are going to execute him.
and he just accepts it.
And he's just like, oops, I'm going to die. And he laughs. He looks death in the face and laughs it off. And I'm like, this dude's insane.
Shakes that one dude to the core.
Yeah. Fucks up Captain Smoker to a fucking whole nother level. And I love Captain Smoker.
Captain
Smokes?
Isn't it Captain Chainsmoker?
No, it's just Smoker.
Okay, I named him in my head Captain Chainsmoker.
I named him in my head
will never
Captain
not be
Smokes,
seen.
so I guess we're both wrong.
He will never not be seen with a cigar in his mouth and a belt, a bandolier of cigars across his chest.
I feel like he's
but
had
that's
like two or
his-
three cigars in his mouth at any given time.
Yes, yeah. Well, his devil fruit power is smoke.
True.
And it's
love it.
something that's it's going to be explored a little bit more. So Luffy's made of rubber, Smoker is made of smoke. So you saw in the quick little scuffle they had after the divine intervention that got Luffy down from the scaffolding. Luffy can't touch him.
Yep.
His body's made of smoke. It's like, what in the world is going on? What kind of power is that? That's insane.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, and I mean, it just kind of shows like where we're going with this, because in the matter of 5 chapters, we've now been introduced to 3 new devil fruits or 2?
At least 2. There was the slip fruit from Alvida, who made herself all smooth and slippery. And then there's the smoke fruit, which I think it's called. I'll have to look up the name.
I think it was
I
Puff
thought there was
Puff.
another one, but
No, it's not Puff Puff.
If it's not Puff
That would
Puff, it
be-
should be.
It's not. That would be a different power. And
It's
you got to
the-
remember what Puff Puff means in Japanese.
True.
Smoky Toki fruit?
Yeah, no. I'm pretty sure it's just a smoke fruit.
It probably is.
We do get introduced to... So, actually, I want to take a quick second and just acknowledge that the storm background of everything, perfect backdrop for what's happening. The storm is Luffy, and it's gathering, and it's about to unleash itself upon the world, which is Luffy going to the Grand Line. And also, Nami seems to be some kind of weather wizard, because she's just walking around and goes, "Oh, air pressure
the barometric pressure is lowering." Like
barometric, but you're close.
Barometric, yeah.
Shut up, engineer.
Aye, sir.
I'm not a weather wizard. I'm not a weather wizard.
Yeah, that was a fun little. Oh, that's a thing you can do.
Yeah, well, and that just again, it's like she's a great navigator because she knows weather patterns and she apparently can feel them in her soul when it changes.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
That hooded fellow was it insinuated that person is the reason lightning struck, or was the lightning strike literally just Luffy's luck?
I thought it was that person.
No, well, I didn't. It might have been insinuated, but well, no, I don't know. I don't feel it was insinuated. But if that's what you took away from it,
that's what I took away. That it was that person shooting lightning somehow.
What was it?
That's a good way to tackle that, Tim.
The only thing we saw was the guy's name, and it's Dragon. Yeah,
right.
That's his name. Smoker's like, "What the hell are you doing here, Dragon?" And he's like, "I just want to see what happens next," or whatever he says. Any ideas who Dragon might be? Any theories so far?
I don't know who Dragon is.
Dragon is nuts.
what?
End the episode.
End the series, end the podcast.
I am 90% sure they're not the same person. But the biggest thing that I've been excited about mentioning is who else we realized is very nearby. And I don't think they're the same person. But, alright, so I'll go ahead and say it. Shanks.
I would say who else is very near? Oh,
Red-haired
Shanks is very nearby.
Yeah, he's very nearby.
That's right.
And he's just casually speaking to Mihawk. So that makes me think that Shanks is actually a really, really serious deal. But my original thought was that Dragon is Shanks, and the reason I'm saying that is because I'm looking at it right now, and like Shanks's face is never really shown. But when you see Dragon, like Shanks's face, you can see it, but it's all shadowed. But when you see Dragon, you kind of see some marks on his face. I don't think they're the same person.
I don't think they're the same looking marks, because Shanks's are like claw marks, go like a scratch, like a real deep cut going over his eye, and I think Dragon's was more like a cross pattern.
You ready?
Yeah, it didn't look the same.
Yeah, but to build off of
the
that, it
D in Monkey D.
disguise.
Luffy's Dragon.
Ooh, it's Luffy's dad.
It's Luffy's
shit. What if
my dad?
That'd be wild.
My dad.
My dad can shoot lightning.
Gum dad.
I mean, it'd be perfect if his dad could shoot lightning. Can't hurt your son then.
Oh my god, yeah, that
Your
was.
son's made of rubber.
So Luffy is
shoot
immune
lightning
to
whenever you
electrical
want.
attacks?
Yes,
Interesting.
He's made of rubber. He's perfectly insulated.
That makes sense. I didn't put two and two together earlier. I just kind of assumed that the lightning missed him. But I guess I'm just dumb.
Well, no, I mean, you're not totally dumb, because the lightning did miss him, because it was Buggy holding up the sword that drew the lightning. So
Yes, so it hit Buggy first. My main boy.
exactly. So it struck Buggy, and then it like careened down through the scaffolding. If Luffy wouldn't.
Who,
know.
Buggy
Come on,
can
Duncan,
turn
it was
into
the
a car now?
barometric pressure.
The barometric
talk at once. What
pressure.
happened? Oh man.
Can we talk about how Buggy turned into a car?
Oh yeah,
Ignore it.
I forgot.
I forgot he turned into a car.
That shit was wild. He just motor.
He was like,
This shit
"Put
was
an
wild.
engine on me."
Yeah, like, dude, put an engine on me. He's like, wait, what? You have an
Look like a
engine
Mario
ready to
Kart.
go? Oh man, I did want to take a step back and actually ask John. So you mentioned Shanks just casually talking to Mihawk.
Yeah.
Do you think that puts Shanks in the Seven Warlords, or do you think he's one of the few exceptions of powerful but not in the Seven?
That's a really tough one to kind of think about, because I feel like the Warlords were probably established well ahead of the timeline that we're currently in. I might be wrong with that, but for him to casually be talking to Mihawk, and he didn't seem scared in any capacity, because there was a little bit of animosity once they first kind of met each other in that scene.
A lot of what the hell are you doing here?
Yeah, he didn't look concerned in the slightest as far as like being scared of Mihawk, which leads me to believe that he's on a similar level. Maybe not him specifically, maybe his crew, I don't know, but I don't think that Shanks is a warlord. I think that he's probably a really serious deal as far as a pirate goes. Although he didn't really seem like it at the beginning of the manga, but I mean, I don't think that interaction is to be taken lightly. Like, I think he's probably a really serious deal.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to see what your thoughts were, because you had mentioned like you believe that there's potential for something above the warlords to be out there. I didn't know if you thought maybe Shanks was up there, or if he was a warlord, or somewhere in the middle.
I doubt it. I mean, maybe, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen Shanks since Luffy was a kid and set sail. So a lot's been happening in 10 years.
Yeah, and we haven't seen him, and I don't think I mentioned this, but like when we originally met Sanji, I kind of thought that it was Shanks undercover, and I don't know why. Maybe it was just because we hadn't seen him in so long, and he looked kind of similar.
They're just both so handsome.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm happy to see Shanks. Shanks, to me, is kind of like that big brother character that you're always chasing as far as power goes. That's kind of how I see Shanks, so I'm kind of just excited to see Shanks show up and do some cool stuff.
Very good. Well, gentlemen, anybody have anything else they wanted to squeeze in real quick? Otherwise, we'll move on to final thoughts for overall from 69 nice to 100. Or last thing I wanted to say actually real quick is we are and I said it earlier, but we're officially off to the Grand Line, guys. This was the final island before the Grand Line. So
let's go.
This is it.
What a great entrance.
Yeah, what a fucking entrance.
What a grand
tsunami
entrance.
In a fucking like hurricane-sized storm of all times.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll go around the horn. Final thoughts, starting with Dunin. Final thoughts and favorite part of this little chunk we read.
I mean, as much as I loved, I don't know the name of the arc, but the longer one that we did.
Arlong Park.
Yes, the Arlong Park arc. I loved that. I loved all the action. The fighting was really cool. The last 5 chapters with Rogue Island, there was like 4 or 5 different instances where I just went, "No way!" out loud while reading it. And that was pretty cool for me. Like when Buggy showed up, and then when they revealed the more attractive lady villain was actually the old ugly villain that we had met previously. Not old, but just like fat and ugly. And then when Luffy survived and when Luffy got captured, there was just so much going on all so quickly that it just kept hitting me like 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a lot of excitement, and I really enjoyed that.
That's awesome. If you had if there was one favorite part, which would it be?
I had to pick a single favorite scene or chapter.
Yeah. Just what when you read it, just immediately became your favorite moment of this little chunk.
Buggy turning into a car.
I knew it.
It's gotta be, dude. Like, I mean, Buggy just showing up again in general, I think was really cool and a great character reintroduction.
I agree. All right, John, final thought and favorite part.
All right, final thoughts. I sorry. really enjoyed all the additional context that was shown in this arc specifically. I think it brought a little bit. I think it made the context for the crew and understanding what everybody's getting at, going for. I think it kind of brought it all round circle at this point. So now we know what the motives are. We know what everybody is aiming to do and why this is most likely going to be the crew from here on out. Like, I don't think maybe one or two will or join the crew at some point. I don't know, but I feel like this is the crew. Favorite part? Well, my favorite big part was not Shanks, Zoro doing his fight and coming close to death once again. They should really take a couple days and let him heal, or month or whatever.
I mean, yeah, there's definitely the doctor on Nami's village was just like, you guys need to get a doctor, and Luffy's like, but what about a musician?
Yeah, they need to just let that guy heal. And then, like, favorite part overall, Shanks showing up. I don't know why I like him so much, but I feel like that just speaks to the gravity of what's going on.
He's a mysterious father figure.
It's because he has.
Yeah.
It's because he has red hair.
Oh my god, yeah, red-haired Shanks.
Let's be honest.
Maybe.
Let's be honest. All right, Nate, final thought and favorite part.
I'm gonna say my favorite part first. My favorite part was definitely still Luffy just like outstretching his neck while he got CPR. That just cracked me up. And then I went to go watch the anime afterwards, and it just cracks me up in there too.
That's awesome.
And definitely final thought is Buggy's dunkability would be insane with those detachable hands.
Oh, facts.
There you go.
We don't know about smokers yet, but yeah, definitely.
Well,
big Duncan Buggy.
Big Duncan Buggy.
Oh my god, Buggy was a buggy. Oh no.
Oh my god, you're right.
Oh, that's amazing. The Buggy.
The Buggy. Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
Can I change the name of this episode from Fish Jam to the Buggy?
You gotta just do slash in both of them.
No, it's Fish Jam Buggy style.
Oh my god.
I don't like it. I'll just
flip a coin.
My final thoughts are this is a great way to exit the East Blue and get on our way to the Grand Line. Honestly, the fact that we're going to the Grand Line at all is amazing. Very early on when I read this, I thought for sure we were going to visit all four blues, the East, West, South, and North, in not that order, but in a order. But I'm glad we're going to the straight to the Grand Line in the middle of the world. But my favorite part was when Luffy got his bounty and then saw it and just was like, oh, that's cool. And everyone's freaking out, but he's like, nah, it's great. It'll be fine.
Words cannot express how excited I am to get to the Grand Line. I'm excited.
Yes, I am very much excited to get to the Grand Line. So we're gonna do a little bit of another double header for the next time we tackle One Piece.
Ooh.
Because the next arc is called the Reverse Mountain Arc. It's actually the beginning of a new saga altogether. We are officially done with the East Blue Saga. We are moving on to something called the Arabasta Saga. But the first arc in this saga is Reverse Mountain, which is only 5 chapters. It's 101 to 105. So I'm going to add in the Whiskey Peak arc, which is only 9 chapters, 106 to 114. So that's 14 chapters. It's a little bit on the lighter side, but the one after that takes up a good chunk on its own. So we'll knock out these 2 little ones on our own and see where we are.
I have a question.
All right.
Is Reverse Mountain in any way similar to Reverse Cowgirl?
And with that, everyone, I wanted to say thank you all so much for joining us on this a little extended episode of That One Time We Read Manga. We hope you've enjoyed. Join us next time we read One Piece for chapters 101 through 114. All right, guys.
Bye. Have a wonderful night.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, people.